Before you skip this, listen carefully. I am about to reveal why you survived the battles that should have destroyed you. This is not luck. This is destiny. I know you are tired. I know there were nights when your heart felt so heavy that even breathing became difficult. I saw every silent tear that rolled down your face when nobody was there to comfort you. I heard the prayers you whispered into the darkness when you thought heaven had become silent. And now I am telling you this because the time has come for you to finally understand the truth. You did not make it this far on your own. I carried you. I protected you. I preserved you for a purpose that is bigger than the pain you endured. You thought your pain was punishment, but I was building a warrior in secret. While you were crying over closed doors, I was preparing greater doors that no enemy would ever be able to shut. While you were questioning your worth, I was shaping your spirit for the assignment attached to your life. You looked at your suffering and believed your story was ending, but I was only writing the chapter that would reveal my glory through you. What happens next will change everything, but you must stay with me until the end because these words are not random. This message found you because heaven allowed it. I placed it in your path for a reason, and your comeback begins today. The enemy thought you would quit last night. He thought the pressure would finally break you. He watched your exhaustion. He saw your disappointment. He saw how many times you smiled in front of others while secretly fighting battles nobody knew about. He believed your loneliness would silence your faith forever. But he underestimated the hand that has been covering your life since the day you were born. I kept you alive because your purpose is bigger than your pain. You cried in silence, fought battles nobody saw, and almost gave up, but I never left you. Even in the moments when you felt abandoned, I was standing beside you, protecting your mind from collapsing completely, strengthening your heart when it wanted to surrender, and holding together the pieces of you that were falling apart. Read this carefully. You didn't survive by accident. There were moments when destruction came close to you. There were times when fear almost consumed your thoughts. There were nights when anxiety wrapped itself around your chest like chains. There were seasons when betrayal shattered your trust and disappointment drained your strength. But somehow you kept going. Somehow you survived what should have broken you completely. That somehow was me. I protected you because the world still needs the person you are becoming. There is still purpose inside you. There is still fire inside your spirit. There are still lives your story will touch. And that is why the darkness could not destroy you. You are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. I know waiting has exhausted you. I know there were days when you questioned whether your prayers were reaching me at all. I know you became tired of hoping for change while watching the same struggles repeat themselves again and again. But listen to me carefully. Do not leave this message early, because the final words are meant to unlock your next season. Everything you endured was preparing you for the moment you are now entering. Every delay, every betrayal, every sleepless night had a hidden purpose. I was shaping your comeback while you thought your life was falling apart. When people walked away from you, I was teaching you that your future could not depend on human approval. When doors closed in your face, I was redirecting you toward the path I designed before you were even born. When your heart broke, I was removing the attachments that would have destroyed your destiny later. You saw rejection, but I saw protection. You saw delay, but I saw preparation. You saw silence, but I was working in places your eyes could not yet see. My child, If only you understood how many unseen battles I fought for you in the spiritual realm while you were crying in the natural. There were attacks sent against your peace, your purpose, your future, and even your life itself. But I stood between you and destruction. I rebuked what tried to consume you. I blocked what tried to break you. And that is why you are still here listening to these words right now. This is your confirmation from heaven. The chapter of suffering is ending, and the chapter of restoration is beginning. I know it has been a long journey. I know your soul became weary from carrying burdens nobody else understood. Some people only saw your silence, but they never saw the war happening inside your mind. Some saw your smile, but they never saw the tears you cried after everyone else went to sleep. But I saw it all. I saw the nights you begged me for strength because you didn't know how much longer you could keep pretending to be okay. And I am telling you now that your endurance was not wasted. Your survival was not meaningless. Every painful season was building something inside you that comfort could never produce. Comment, you are my victory banner, God, if He's turned your battles into testimonies. I kept you alive through every storm because I am not finished with you yet. Your greatest season is about to begin. But before you step into it, you must stop believing the lie that your past disqualified you. The mistakes you made did not cancel my calling over your life. The betrayal you experienced did not erase your value. The moments when you doubted me did not cause me to abandon you. I have loved you through every broken chapter, every fearful thought, every hidden wound, and every moment when you felt unworthy of my love. Nothing about your pains surprised me. I knew every battle you would face before you were born, and I already prepared the strength you would need to survive it. There is a reason you could never fully give up. There is a reason something inside you kept fighting even when your mind wanted to quit. That strength did not come from you alone. That was my spirit keeping you alive for this moment. Because your story does not end in defeat. Your story does not end in depression. Your story does not end in fear, failure, or destruction. I have written restoration over your future. I have written healing over your wounds. I have written purpose over your pain. And now the season is changing. You are not reading these words by coincidence. I interrupted your day because your spirit needed this reminder. I needed you to hear my voice above the noise of fear, disappointment, and hopelessness. The enemy wanted you to believe you were forgotten, but I have remembered every prayer you ever cried through tears. I have remembered every sacrifice you made in silence. I have remembered every moment you chose to keep going even when your strength was almost gone. And now heaven is responding. So stop speaking death over your future. Stop believing that your best days are behind you. Stop allowing fear to convince you that nothing will ever change. I am the God who restores what pain tried to steal. I am the God who breathes life into exhausted souls. I am the God who opens doors no person can shut. And I am telling you now that your life is about to shift in ways you never expected. The tears were not wasted. The waiting was not wasted. The heartbreak was not wasted. Every lonely night, every painful goodbye, every disappointment, every silent battle was shaping the strength that will carry you into your next season. One day you will look back and realize that the very things meant to destroy you became the evidence of my hand upon your life. So rise up now. Stop calling yourself weak when I have called you chosen. Stop seating yourself as abandoned when I have been walking beside you the entire time. Stop believing your story is over when heaven is just beginning to reveal why you survived everything that tried to destroy you. Your comeback starts right now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. I am awakening strength inside you that pain tried to bury. I am restoring hope inside you that disappointment tried to kill. I am rebuilding the parts of your heart that life shattered. And what is coming will be greater than what was lost. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. You survived because I chose you. You endured because I carried you. You are still standing because my hand never left your life. And now I am calling you higher. Leave behind the fear. Leave behind the hopelessness. Leave behind the version of yourself that believed the struggle would last forever. A new season is beginning, and this time you will not walk through it broken and defeated. This time you will walk through it knowing that I was with you in every battle, every storm, every wound, and every night you almost quit. Before you continue scrolling, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not random. This is not just another message appearing in front of you by accident. I brought you here. I arranged this moment before you even woke up today. I watched you carry pain that nobody understood. I saw the pressure building in your mind, the silent battles inside your heart, and the exhaustion you tried to hide behind your smile. And now I am interrupting your day because your soul needs to hear my voice before the enemy convinces you to give up completely. This message is not for everyone. It is for the one who almost quit. It is for the one who feels emotionally drained, spiritually tired, and mentally overwhelmed. It is for the one who secretly wondered if life would ever get better again. And if that person is you, then listen closely, because I am about to reveal why you survived every painful season that should have destroyed you. I know there were moments when you thought nobody noticed your suffering. There were nights when you cried in silence because you were too tired to explain your pain to anyone anymore. You smiled in front of people while your heart quietly broke behind closed doors. You kept moving forward while carrying wounds nobody else could see. Some mornings you woke up already exhausted. Some nights you begged for peace because your mind would not stop racing with fear, worry, disappointment, and questions you could not answer. I saw every one of those moments. I heard every prayer you whispered through tears. And I need you to understand something before this message continues. You are not here by coincidence. I placed these words directly in your path because your spirit needed confirmation from heaven today. Do not skip this message. Do not ignore these words. The enemy wants you distracted right now because he knows what happens when broken people finally realize they were chosen all along. He wants you to believe your suffering was meaningless. He wants you to believe your story is over. He wants you trapped in hopelessness, fear, regret, and exhaustion. But I am speaking now to interrupt every lie that has been attacking your mind. I am speaking because your season is changing, and before you can step into what I prepared for you, you must first understand why you survived everything that tried to destroy you. You have asked me many times, Lord, why did I have to go through so much pain? You questioned why betrayal found you. You questioned why certain people walked away. You questioned why doors closed in your face after you prayed so hard for them to open. You questioned why you felt abandoned when all you wanted was peace. But my child, what if I told you that every painful season carried a hidden purpose? What if I told you that the battles you fought were not punishment, but preparation? What if I told you that while you were crying over what was falling apart, I was secretly building the strength you would need for the future I planned for you. This introduction to your story is not about defeat. It is about survival. It is about the fact that you are still standing after everything you endured. Many people would have collapsed under the pressure you carried. Many people would have stopped believing after facing the disappointments you experienced. But somehow, even when your strength became weak, you kept going. Even when your faith felt small, you survived another day. Even when your heart became tired, something inside you refused to fully surrender. That was not luck. That was me protecting the purpose attached to your life. There were moments you almost broke completely. There were nights when fear wrapped around your mind so tightly that you thought you would never feel peace again. There were seasons when loneliness became so heavy that you wondered if anyone truly cared about your existence. There were battles in your home, battles in your relationships, battles in your emotions, and battles inside your own thoughts. But despite all of it, you are still here. Still breathing, still searching for hope, still listening to my voice right now. And I need you to understand this clearly. The reason you survived is because I never left you. Even when you could not feel my presence, I was there. Even when you thought heaven had become silent, I was working in places your eyes could not see. While you were fighting battles in the natural, I was fighting battles in the spiritual realm on your behalf. I protected your mind from breaking completely. I stopped attacks you never even noticed. I closed doors that would have destroyed your future. I kept certain people away from your destiny because they were not assigned to walk with you into your next season. And though you cried over some of those losses, one day you will realize that my protection often looked like painful separation. I know you became tired of waiting. I know you became frustrated watching others move forward while you felt stuck in the same painful cycle. There were times you wondered if I had forgotten your prayers completely. But this message is your confirmation that I have not forgotten you. I remember every tear. I remember every lonely night. I remember every moment you chose to keep going when your soul wanted to quit. And now I am revealing the truth you have needed to hear for a long time. Your suffering did not destroy you because your destiny is greater than your pain. This introduction is the beginning of a divine interruption in your life. Because from this moment forward, you cannot continue seeing yourself as abandoned, forgotten, or weak. You cannot continue believing the lie that your life has no purpose. You cannot continue measuring your worth by your failures, your delays, or the opinions of people who never understood your assignment. I formed you with intention. I allowed you to survive because there is still something I am going to do through your life that the world has not yet seen. The enemy thought the pressure would silence you forever. He thought heartbreak would destroy your ability to trust again. He thought disappointment would bury your faith permanently. He thought anxiety would consume your peace until you finally surrendered to hopelessness. But he underestimated the power of my hand upon your life. He underestimated the purpose I placed inside your spirit before you were born. And now the same person who almost gave up is about to become living proof that I can restore what pain tried to destroy. I need you to stay with me through this entire message because the next part of your journey cannot begin until you fully understand this truth. You did not survive by accident. Every battle carried purpose. Every delay carried preparation. Every painful goodbye carried protection. Every sleepless night carried hidden transformation. And though you could not see it while you were suffering, I was building strength inside you that comfort could never produce. You thought your story was ending, but heaven was preparing your comeback. You thought the silence meant abandonment, but I was preparing restoration behind the scenes. You thought you were losing everything, but I was removing what could not follow you into your future. And now the time has come for your eyes to open spiritually so you can finally understand why your life unfolded the way it did. This is not just another motivational message. This is a divine appointment. These words were placed before you intentionally because your heart was on the edge of losing hope. And before that happened completely, I stepped in to remind you who hath been carrying you all along. I am the reason you survived. I am the reason your mind did not fully collapse. I am the reason your story is still continuing. And I am the reason your future is still filled with purpose. So take a deep breath and listen carefully, because what comes next will explain the battles you never understood, the tears nobody saw, and the reason heaven refused to let you quit. Your life is not over. Your purpose is not dead. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. And the same God who carried you through every painful season is about to reveal why you had to survive it all in the first place. My child, before you continue listening, I need you to understand something that you have questioned for a very long time. You were never surviving alone. Not for one single moment. I know there were nights when it felt like heaven had become silent. I know there were moments when your heart became so heavy that you wondered if I had forgotten your name completely. You looked around at your life and saw disappointment, delay, betrayal, exhaustion, and loneliness, and you quietly asked yourself, Lord, where were you when I needed you the most? But I am speaking to you now so you can finally understand the truth that was hidden behind every painful season. I was there the entire time. I watched every near-breaking moment. I saw every battle you fought behind closed doors while pretending to be strong in front of everyone else. I saw the nights when sleep refused to come because your mind was overwhelmed with fear and worry. I saw you staring at the ceiling in darkness, replaying painful memories again and again, wondering how your life became so heavy. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly because you did not want anyone to know how deeply you were hurting. I saw the emotional exhaustion you carried when your spirit became tired from fighting the same battles over and over again. And even when you believed you were abandoned, my presence never left your side. Say, I will keep praising you in the silence if your faith endures the way. There were moments when loneliness wrapped around your heart so tightly that you thought nobody truly understood your pain. People saw your smile, but they did not see the silent crying that happened after everyone else went to sleep. They heard you say, I'm fine, but they never heard the prayers you whispered through trembling breaths when anxiety filled your chest late at night. Some people only saw the version of you that kept functioning, but I saw the hidden version of you that felt emotionally broken and spiritually exhausted. I saw the moments when depression whispered lies into your mind, telling you that nothing would ever change, that your future was hopeless, that your pain would never end. But even then, I remained close to you. You believed your tears were invisible, but heaven counted every single one. You believed your suffering was unnoticed, but I watched every painful moment with deep compassion. My child, there were times when destruction came closer to you than you realized. There were unseen spiritual battles happening around your life that your natural eyes could not see. The enemy wanted your mind. You wanted your peace. You wanted your future. He wanted to convince you to surrender to hopelessness completely. But many nights while you were crying in silence, I was standing guard over your life. My angels surrounded you while darkness tried to consume your thoughts. I protected you from attacks you never even knew existed. There were moments when fear almost swallowed you completely. Moments when betrayal cut so deeply into your heart that you questioned whether you could ever trust again. You gave your love to people who wounded you. You stayed loyal to people who walked away from you when you needed them most. You carried disappointment from prayers that seemed unanswered and dreams that appeared delayed. Some days you felt emotionally numb because the weight of life became too much to carry. Yet somehow, despite all of it, you survive. And now I need you to understand why. You survived because I chose you. Not because you were stronger than everyone else. Not because life became easier. Not because the battles were small. You survived because my hand refused to let you go. Every time you almost gave up, I breathed strength back into your spirit. Every time your heart wanted to surrender, I reminded your soul that your story was not over yet. Even when you questioned your purpose, I never questioned it for a moment. I knew exactly who you were becoming while you were still trying to survive the pain of who you used to be. There were nights when the enemy whispered that nobody cared whether you lived or disappeared. There were moments when hopelessness became so loud that you thought peace would never return again. But I was there in the darkness with you. When your tears soaked your pillow at night, I was there. When your chest felt heavy with anxiety and fear, I was there. When you sat alone feeling emotionally abandoned by people you trusted, I was there. And though you could not always feel my presence, I was carrying you through battles that would have destroyed you without my protection. You thought you were simply enduring difficult seasons, but many of those seasons were spiritual warfare. There were forces fighting against your peace, because the enemy recognized the purpose attached to your life before you fully recognized it yourself. He knew that if you ever discovered who I created you to become, your testimony would help heal people who were drowning in the same darkness you survived. That is why the attacks became so intense. That is why the pressure felt unbearable at times. The enemy wanted to break you before your breakthrough arrived. But I would not allow destruction to have the final word over your story. Do you remember the moments when you thought everything was about to collapse completely? The moments when one more disappointment felt impossible to survive? There were times when your mental exhaustion became so overwhelming that even simple tasks felt difficult. You woke up tired. You carried invisible heaviness throughout the day. You smiled for people while silently begging for relief inside your heart. Yet even during those exhausting seasons, I kept giving you enough strength to survive one more day. Sometimes you called it coincidence. Sometimes you called it luck. But my child, it was me. I intervened more times than you know. There were doors you cried over that I intentionally kept closed because they would have led you toward destruction instead of destiny. There were relationships you begged to keep that I removed because they were slowly draining your spirit and leading you away from the future I prepared for you. There were situations where danger almost touched your life, but my protection stood between you and what the enemy planned against you. You may never fully understand how many times heaven protected you from things your eyes never saw. But one day you will realize that my mercy surrounded your life even in your darkest seasons. I know you felt forgotten. I know there were moments when my silence confused you. You prayed for answers, but all you heard was quietness. You begged for relief, but the battle continued. You asked me why life felt unfair while watching others move forward with happiness while you struggled to survive emotionally. But while you thought I was absent, I was working behind the scenes in ways your mind could not yet understand. Heaven was guarding your future while you were focused only on your pain. There is a reason the enemy could not destroy you. There is a reason you are still here listening to these words right now. There is a reason your heart continued beating through every painful night. It is because I have not abandoned the purpose attached to your life. Your survival was never random. Your endurance was never meaningless. Every painful season was shaping the strength, wisdom, compassion, and spiritual maturity you will need for the assignment I placed over your future. One day you will look back and realize that the seasons you thought were destroying you were actually teaching you how to depend on me more deeply than ever before. The loneliness taught you to seek my presence. The betrayal taught you discernment. The heartbreak taught you compassion for wounded people. The delays taught you patience. The silent battles taught you spiritual endurance. Nothing you survived was wasted. Even your tears carried purpose. My child, I need you to stop seeing yourself as weak because you struggled emotionally. The fact that you cried does not mean you lacked faith. The fact that you became tired does not mean you failed me. Even strong people grow weary in difficult seasons. Even faithful hearts become exhausted after carrying pain for too long. But what matters is this. Despite everything, you kept going. And the reason you kept going is because I was carrying you when your own strength became too small. You were never abandoned in the darkness. I was sitting beside you in every lonely moment. I was listening to every silent prayer. I was watching every tear fall from your eyes. I was protecting your life from destruction while you wondered if anybody cared about your suffering at all. Heaven never stopped paying attention to your pain. And now I am asking you to trust me with the next chapter of your story. Stop believing the lie that your suffering made you forgotten. Stop believing the lie that your battles mean I abandoned you. Stop believing the lie that your life has no purpose because the journey became painful. I allowed you to survive because your story is still unfolding. There are people who will one day find hope because you survived what tried to destroy you. There are broken hearts you will encourage because you understand pain personally. There are storms you will overcome because your spirit has already been trained through difficult seasons. You survived because I chose you. You survived because my hand remained over your life even when you could not see it. You survived because heaven refused to let darkness erase the destiny I wrote over your future before you were born. And now, my child, the same God who carried you through every sleepless night, every silent tear, every betrayal, every fearful moment, every exhausting season, and every lonely battle is preparing to reveal why your survival mattered all along. Your story is not ending in brokenness. Your story is becoming a testimony. My child, I know there were many moments when you looked at your suffering and believed I was punishing you. You questioned why life became so heavy when all you wanted was peace. You wondered why the battles kept increasing even after you prayed, trusted, and tried your best to keep going. There were nights when you cried and asked me, Lord, why is this happening to me? And because you could not immediately see purpose in your pain, you started believing the lie that your suffering meant you were forgotten, rejected, or abandoned. But I am speaking to you now so I can shift your understanding forever. Your pain was never punishment. Your pain was preparation. Every hardship was shaping something inside you that comfort could never produce. Every difficult season was building strength, wisdom, endurance, and spiritual maturity deep within your soul. You were not being destroyed. You were being refined. And though the process hurt more than you expected, the fire was never meant to consume you. It was meant to transform you. Think about gold for a moment, my child. Gold is not refined in comfort. It is refined through intense fire. The heat removes every impurity until something stronger, purer, and more valuable begins to emerge. And in the same way, the seasons that nearly broke you were removing things from your spirit that could not remain attached to your destiny. The fire exposed hidden fears. The pressure revealed unhealthy attachments. The waiting uncovered areas where you still depended more on people than on me. None of this was meant to shame you. It was preparation for the life I am calling you into. I know the fire felt unfair at times. I know you became exhausted from carrying pain nobody understood. Some days you begged for relief because the emotional weight became too heavy. You watched relationships fall apart. You watched plans fail. You watched doors close unexpectedly. You watched people misunderstand you, betray you, leave you, and disappoint you. And with every painful moment, you quietly wondered if life would ever become peaceful again. But while you were focused on what was falling apart around you, I was focused on what was being built inside you. The hidden seasons were not empty seasons. Those lonely nights when you felt forgotten were actually moments where I was strengthening your spirit privately. Those delayed prayers were teaching you endurance. Those seasons of silence were teaching you how to trust me even when you could not see immediate answers. Those moments when people walked away were teaching you not to place your identity in human approval. Everything had purpose, even when it hurt. My child, there are blessings I could not release into your life before because your spirit was still being prepared to carry them. You asked me to open certain doors years ago, but if I had answered too quickly, the weight of the blessing would have crushed you instead of helping you. You wanted immediate relief, but I was focused on long-term transformation. You wanted comfort, but I was building character. You wanted quick answers, but I was developing wisdom through the waiting. The delays were not rejection. The delays were preparation for something bigger than what you originally prayed for. You saw delay as punishment because you could not yet see what I was protecting you from. There were people you wanted to remain in your life who would have damaged your future if I allowed them to stay. There were opportunities you cried over losing that would have distracted you from your true assignment. There were moments when you felt overlooked while others moved ahead of you, but you did not realize that I was protecting your spirit from stepping into seasons before you were spiritually mature enough to survive them. You thought your life was standing still, but heaven was training you. Training is not comfortable. Preparation is not easy. Soldiers are not strengthened in peaceful seasons alone. They are trained through pressure, discipline, endurance, and warfare. And my child, many of the battles you fought were spiritual training for the future I have prepared for you. You were learning how to stand when fear attacked your mind. You were learning how to keep faith alive while surrounded by uncertainty. You were learning how to seek my presence instead of depending on temporary comfort from the world. Every battle develops spiritual muscles that will carry you through future assignments. The warfare you experienced was not proof that I abandoned you. It was proof that your purpose carried significance. The enemy does not fight people who carry no destiny. He attacked your peace because he feared who you would become once you discovered the strength hidden inside your spirit. He wanted your suffering to convince you that your life had no purpose. He wanted disappointment to bury your faith. You wanted exhaustion to silence your prayers. But every time the enemy tried to break you, I used the battle to make you stronger instead. Do you realize how different you are now compared to who you used to be? The version of you before the pain was more dependent on comfort, more attached to human approval, and less aware of spiritual warfare. But now you see life differently. Now you recognize that not every battle is physical. Now you understand how deeply you need my presence. Now your compassion for hurting people has grown because you personally understand suffering. The fire changed you, my child. And though you would never choose those painful seasons again, they shaped wisdom inside you that only suffering could produce. Type "I hear your whisper," Lord, if this message echoed in your heart, and share this video.